You're listening to Radio Cosmos.
All night long.
Bravo!
My compliments, little lady.
Commercial! Break for 30 seconds. End of transmission.
You are now listening to BaaD Radio.
Hello and welcome to BaaD Radio. BaaD stands for Business at a Distance. This is a show about local businesses and business networking. We are so glad you are here. We are a live show and you can listen to us online at 105.5 FM, 660 AM, or you can download the Florida Man Radio app. You can even pick us up on the iHeartRadio app, so there's no excuse not to listen. I'm your host, Angela Marito, and in studio we have DJ the Heather, the producer.
Hello, good morning.
And Melissa is out today, but we have Christina who is standing in and making sure to capture everything on video. You can wave right over there. Say hi. She's like, hi. So Striking Brand has been producing our weekly YouTube videos of BaaD Radio, which you can find on baadradio.com. The latest ones are all updated on there. And then you can also see the rest of Melissa's work at strikingbrand.com. The video portion of BaaD Radio is brought to you by Dr. James Bowles. He's currently with Lake Mary Chiropractor, but he is getting his new practice. I talked to Dr. James on Friday, and he said all the paperwork's being finalized, and then he's just coming up with a name. And so I think we're going to be able to announce the name of his new practice on next Sunday. So that's really exciting.
He'll be over in the UCF area.
Yep, in the UCF area. He said that like the whole legalities and paperwork, and he said it's a little trying. I can only imagine. All right. And so we have a very special show today because in studio with me, please welcome Angelique Renae with Holistic Beauty by Angelique.
Hello, everybody. Happy Labor Day weekend.
Right? Happy Labor Day weekend to you. You can call or text us anytime. The number here is 321-339-1055. And this portion of BaaD Radio is brought to you by Premier Couples Superstore. Cut out the middleman and go straight to the source. Premier Couples Superstore has everything from sexy bedroom outfits, toys, games, and everything in between. Premier Couples Superstore, because couples that play together stay together. Last week I said it reversed, and I was like, but then I was like, that makes sense too. It does, though, if you think about it. Also, a huge thank you to Liberty Property Inspections. They specialize in home and commercial building inspections, environmental inspections, roof certifications, and pool inspections. You can also save money with a wind mitigation inspection. Call them at 407-739-5795 or visit them at libertypropertyinspections.net. Also, a huge thank you to Artistic Beauty, Kazoo Creative, and Angela Keen's Hair and Makeup. And special shout out to Angela. I got my fall hair this past week, so I'm kind of poodling it today because I slept with it in a braid. But she did just such an amazing job.
Mermaid hair.
And that's how you're supposed to sleep, with extensions, right?
Yeah.
In a braid, but then do you have to straighten it every day?
No, you don't have to.
No,
I mean, it all depends on what you're in the mood for that particular
Do
day.
they hold the braid wave?
You mean like, yeah.
Well, hers are, yeah.
I mean, I brushed it out this morning, but like I said,
Because that looks more like ringlets.
Does it?
Yeah.
Cool.
I'll take it.
So yeah, Angela is just amazing with extensions. So I'm super happy about that. All right. So we are at that part where we can sit back and listen to Emily Murphy, hormone expert and weight loss coach. All right. Help make some sense out of why we're feeling, well, the way we're feeling.
The way we're feeling. So... Well, I wanted to talk about today why it's hard to make big changes. And this is something like I know that everybody unless you're just at the gym, 5-6 days a week and you are crushing it with your nutrition, you're probably thinking like, I could be healthier in some ways, right?
Absolutely.
We all know, especially as business owners, especially as busy moms and dads or whatever we're doing. I mean, everybody's just busy. And there are things I think, I'm going to go over three top health and weight loss myths that I think are holding you back from just making small, simple changes and actually moving in the direction of health. So number one is the myth or belief that you need to eat 5 or 6 times a day. Mm-hmm. So I have a lot of people that come to me and they're busy in their lives and they're trying to manage all the things. And it's so funny how, like we talked about this before, our food and feeding ourselves gets put way down on the list. You're like, I've got all of these other things coming at me. And just like if this was thousands of years ago, if you were going into battle or if you were going to hunt for food or whatever,
Foraging.
things that were survival and need to be done now, the last thing your brain would tell you would be, hey, go sit down and eat something. Right? It's like we've got top of mind, what are our priorities? And our brains and bodies look at what's coming at us every day as stress, just like it did thousands of years ago when it was life or death, right?
I love that analogy.
Same thing. So when we think that healthy means we have to eat these snacks every day, all day, like 5-6 times.
I don't know where I heard it, but that's what it is. In order to lose weight, eat five small meals.
Have you heard that too?
Yeah, and it's the theory of maintaining your blood sugar. So that way you're not on the roller coaster with the high highs and then the crashes after.
Right. But they've actually found that spiking your insulin so many times a day is worse for blood sugar than, and what we eat when we're eating little snacks is usually carb-based snacks because you're not sitting
something
down.
from a package.
Right. And a big question that people ask me is like on my social media and stuff, what can I have for a snack? What's a good snack?
I was going to call you this week.
Angela.
And then they end up grazing all day long.
Exactly. And your blood sugar is jumping around all day and you're probably like eating double the amount of carbs that you're ever going to burn. And I'm not for low carb, high carb. I'm for what is the amount of carbs that you're going to burn. And if you have excess fat to get into, well, and you keep your blood sugar high all day, you're never going to get, into your own fat storage to use that for energy and lose weight. So I know that it becomes like this daunting task. Well, I don't eat once a day, barely. Now I've got to think about 5 or 6 different meals and things. And your brain goes, no, that's way too much. Keep doing what you're doing. You don't feel good right now. You're not sleeping well. You don't have any energy. But we know right now what we're doing is way easier than you starting to make decisions on 5 to 6 meals a day.
Right.
So don't even do it. So that's holding you back. Number 2, and this is from many women coming out of the 80s and 90s with our poor little bodies and all our hormone dysfunction now. Carbs are bad, fats are bad, salt is bad.
Oh my gosh.
Right?
And you know what? I see it with my clients as an esthetician, that how they're aging. They get the saggy, crepey skin because they haven't been taking in those good quality fats to maintain the structure and function of their skin.
Exactly. And that's where all your hormone production is supported. And so, when we're worried about eating all the foods, right? And then we're talking about trying to eat 5 or 6 meals and we're just afraid of food. We get caught up in all this anxiety again. And then we even get dehydrated and stuff because we're not taking in good salts and electrolytes and we're just afraid of everything. So we say, F it. And then we eat whatever's in front of us when we're starving and our blood sugar is crashing and we're hangry and shaky.
Only this one time.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you're just like, it's way too much, right? And your brain is like, just block all that out. Keep doing what you're doing. Every morning you might go into your closet and hate yourself because your clothes don't fit or whatever. But this is what we know is safe and easy for us right now. And so we're going to just pick. Humans just naturally we're supposed to pick the easy things. We're supposed to look for opportunities where things are less hard for us. So we've got to get some understanding of what types of fats we can eat, right? Or we should be eating, what types of carbs
fats.
And how much carbs your body can handle. And then, understanding things like minerals and, electrolytes and salts are okay for us. They're actually good for us. They keep us
in
hydrated.
natural form.
Right.
Not the lab created stuff.
Right. And just not table salt or preservative salt that's in, a lot of things that are coming in packages for us. So number 3 is you have to work out really hard to make it worth it and see big changes. And of course, when we look at our lives and how little time we have and how little energy we have, if you think that you have to go to the gym 5, 6, 7 days a week to actually get results, or you need to be in these strenuous boot camp classes or high intensity training, and you're just like, your brain is going, nuh-uh, we don't want to do that. You're not going to put us through that.
Especially if somebody's had adrenal fatigue, that can actually wreck their metabolism even worse.
Yeah, totally. You know what I'm talking about. And so when we think about being in this fight or flight state all day where, our adrenals are producing adrenaline and stress hormones all day, and then you're thinking you got to go to the gym and kill yourself in order to see changes, right?
And then you feel worse after.
Right. Or you might go burn 300, 400, 500 calories And then you might eat 500 to 1,000 with your body trying to figure out, what were you just doing?
Right.
You were like
so
unsafe, right? You didn't have any food. You didn't have enough food going in. Now, if you sit down to a meal and you're not getting that satiated feeling ever, it's like you're totally out of touch with your body because your body's just in overdrive. There is no willpower. You're not going to have any willpower that's going to be strong enough to overcome your natural instincts. And you're like really breaking into, like, your body's just trying to survive and figure out what the heck you're doing to it. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, and this is all stuff that we do ourselves.
Yeah. And
guilty as charged.
I mean, just basic things like trying to figure out how many steps are you taking now? And so I love, like, they have $25 trackers on Amazon. If you don't want to spend money on a Fitbit or you don't have an Apple Watch or anything, like, it's an easy, just cheap pedometers that will tell you, like, and I have people, some days I'm even guilty of it. And I got to stand up, walking desk now, a treadmill desk, that because there are days where I was walking 2,000 steps a day only. I mean, that's horrible.
Is
that's
it?
Like
I don't know. It sounds a lot to me.
Yeah, what's the conversion rate on that to like miles?
Well, so 10,000 is 5 miles. Well, I don't worry about the pounds, like in just walking, but we need just regular activity, right? We just need to be more active than just sitting on our butts all day. And so, just having that measure of where you are, and if you aren't losing any weight or you're just having trouble feeling better, but you should be moving more, that is a better step to take than rolling in a boot camp gym or something where, you're going from pretty much 0 to 60. You've been sitting doing nothing. And now you're going to, put your body through the ringer trying to figure it out.
People injure themselves that way.
Oh, totally.
I've seen a lot of injuries from that.
Yeah. And I was just talking to a friend about that. One of my friends blew out a hip in in one of these like hardcore classes in I won't say the name of the company. But,
okay.
And she went to Jewett, to the hospital to, get her surgery or hip put back together. And they said, that place keeps us in business with adults like over 35 who try to get out of their desk, right? And go amp up their heart rate and make sure they're burning all the points and getting into
Safety
the zones.
first.
Right.
So just starting to walk and get more movement in, doing really basic exercises and strength training, even just at your home at first, 10 to 20 minutes, not being just all or nothing. Starting to break into these small habits is going to help.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I'm guilty as charged. And actually, let's just finish this conversation because when we come to break, when we come back from break, then I'll do the BaaD business tip. So let's talk a little bit about how people get in touch with you and we have 1 minute left.
So they can find me at gogetemcoach.com or on social media,
gogetemcoach.com. I know.
GetResultsWithEmily.com takes you to my Facebook page.
That's what we call brain fart.
I did have a really hard workout before this. A very intentional hard workout, though.
Killed the brain cells.
Yeah.
But like on your app, all this information is on your app, which I find to be such a useful tool. So like...
Yeah, so inside my program, like you get access to my app that gives you all this information and can help you get back to balance and do things, one step at a time, not just like, let's try to go so hard for 6 weeks and not keep those habits. It's like, let's build a sustainable foundation.
Absolutely love that. All right, so we're going to go to a break right now. And when we get back, we are going to announce our BaaD business tip winner. And we are going to also talk with Angelique Renae with Holistic Beauty by Angelique.
Florida Man Radio.
Welcome back to BaaD Radio, brought to you by Premier Couple Superstore, because a couple that plays together stays together.
And welcome back to BaaD Radio. And just a reminder, you can call and text in at any time to 321-339-1055. And this portion of BaaD Radio is brought to you by Impact Electric of Orlando, who focuses on residential and commercial electrical work. You can reach Zach and his team at 407-747-0874. Again, he does residential and commercial, and he has done several jobs for Tom and I, and just excellent work. And he is also hiring right now too, so just keep that in mind. Also, I want to thank Andrews Law PA, Renae Sterling with Southside Bank, our mortgage expert, and Sheepdog Promotional Products. All right, before we went to break, I said that I was going to be doing the announcement for our BaaD business tip, and so Last week, our business tip was submitted by Michael Palma with Palma Productions, which is a digital marketing or digital communications marketing. And Michael said, stop caring about and wasting time on others that provoke you. You waste time, energy, and create negative mental blockades against being who you truly are. And we talked about this a little bit because we all like Angelique and I were talking about that beforehand about today's day and age and social media and stuff like that. You are going to have people that are going to come at you and they're not going to be positive, and it's trying to figure out the right way to manage that and not let it suck you down.
Or trigger you.
That happens. And so this week we're kind of like, I like to keep it on a positive note, but I'm also like to keep things real. It's not always like unicorns and sunshine.
Yeah.
But this week the tip was submitted by Jonathan Jung. It's Jung. So, and Jonathan says, don't think about your competitors. Always thinking about your clients, consumers, and what you need to do for them. So the reason I brought this up is because I halfway agree with it. And the whole point of the BaaD business tip is to create discussion. So I just want to real quickly talk about that because I do look at what competitors do. Lots of times I look at them to learn. Lots of times I look at them to figure out what I can do better. But again, I can't live my life on what my competitors are doing. And I'm sure, I think we all are in an industry that's highly competitive.
Yeah, and what I try to focus on is just everybody's own unique brilliance. So everybody kind of brings something a little bit different to the table. So I do keep a pulse check on what the latest innovations are in my industry as far as equipment and what seems to be in high demand. But my knowledge, background, and education often differs from people that are in my industry. So I celebrate people, and I always say to just get really good at certain things and then keep your referral network tight. Because if there's something that outside of the scope of my practice and what I do, there's plenty of business for everyone. I'd rather send it to somebody that is a master of their craft and know that my clients are in good hands than to try to give them a watered down version.
Yeah, totally.
So actually on that note too, and as far as there's enough business for everybody,
there just is. There's so many people. There's in whatever field you're in. Not thinking so is like super scarcity mindset and will keep you from being successful because you're never going to outrun everybody.
Yeah. And lots of times those competitors can end up being really solid network partners.
Yeah.
I think I like that too.
Or you could learn things from other people. I mean,
so putting on blinders and not looking at competitors as a way to gain knowledge and grow is, in my senses, that's kind of, you're cutting yourself short. So thank you so much for Jonathan to submit that. I think that it's obviously something that we can talk about in more detail. But what we're going to talk about right now is holistic beauty with Angelique. So a little bit of a backstory. Angelique and I met about 2 years ago through Business at a Distance. That is correct, right?
Yeah, online through the Facebook group while we were all quarantined during COVID. And you started this amazing Facebook group for the purpose of networking with everybody and keeping us all connected.
Yeah, it was, I can't be more happy with the way it turned out. But I actually remember your first post, and I was super excited to see you in there. And then over the years, we got to know each other, and I have had the pleasure of her work on me. And I just, like I said, I want to go into that a little bit more detail, but to kind of premise everything, just tell everybody about your business and how you work.
Yeah, so I'm a holistic beauty expert, licensed esthetician. I also serve as a coach, teacher, trainer, and consultant for other licensed practitioners. And so I always look at how can I get results and support the body's repair process without adding trauma and injury to the body. I happen to be a chicken with needles. So in the age of, Botox and injectables, I always look for different ways to get results. And there's actually a segment of the population out there that are not candidates for those types of treatments because they have autoimmune disorders. I have a kidney transplant patient. I've had cancer survivors, and they want beauty and anti-aging, but not at the expense of their health and without compromising their immune system, especially after coming out of a pandemic. Right. So it's very much kind of like personal training in a way where we walk a journey together over a series of treatments because it takes time to create damage in the skin. So it's going to take time to repair it. And I really do believe in beauty and wellness comes from the inside out. So I take a holistic approach by looking at all the different factors that contribute to a person's appearance, such as diet, sleep profile, hormones, stress management, a lot of things that really wear people down. And I say, how can I rebuild that, not only by treating the outside, but giving them internal support as well.
And that's so different than, I'm going to go and get my 11s taken care of with a couple of needle pricks.
And I always joke around. I used to have 11s. I had a corporate sales career many years ago. And I said, wow, when I left that soul-sucking sales career and then got out of a toxic marriage, those 11s kind of disappeared.
My face really liked it.
I'm so much less stressed now.
We have a beautiful
I'm just
face.
making people happy and beautiful all day long now. It's way better.
Oh, well, on that note, we had actually scheduled something, and I want to go into how the whole process worked. Heather, our producer here, her and her mother had the pleasure of going to Angelique, and I want to talk about just how we started it from did you call them your intake forms?
Yes.
Okay. So tell us about the intake forms and why, because when I said something to Heather about it, she was like, I was just going to take it with me. And I was like, no, she needs to see it ahead of time. So tell us about why you would need to do that.
Yeah. So my intake form is actually a little long. It's like 6 pages long. So
damn,
people
I
are
didn't know it was that long.
But the reason I do that is not only to get a snapshot of their medical history, what skincare they're using, what diet they have, are they sleeping regularly? What's their water intake?
I'm doing better on the ice cream, Emily. Leave me alone.
There's so many different factors that I look at. And then, when I actually get with the client and I can sit down and talk to them, I look at areas that we can make small tweaks. And I like to focus on substitutions rather than exclusions. There was a time where I worked for 3 years straight just with complex acne cases. So much of that was dietary counseling. So by making small changes and focusing on substitutions, then people don't feel like they're deprived, because then they kind of go back and forth with everything. And then, I got to the point where I wanted to shift back into anti-aging and regenerative and say, how can we roll back the clock? How can we repair the skin and really get results? But it's the micro shifts that create the macro results. So it's this ongoing thing where, because I can tell if somebody's been out whining and dining, like I can see it in their skin.
Gosh, yeah.
I do offer, non-surgical facelift body sculpting services and different things, but by looking at everything else, if some of my clients come in and they're, I know that it's part of their career to go out and wine and dine, and they come to me and they're like, hey, can I do waist slimming? I'm like, well, you ready to give up the wine?
Right.
And some of them say, well, no, I don't think I can do that. Okay, well then we'll work on your face.
Right.
Because I want them to maximize their results and really be happy. And my goal is to collapse timelines to get them the quickest results possible in the shortest time frame, and to continue their progress after we're done working together, so that way they don't have to see me as often in the treatment room.
Right. So Heather, with yours, so it was you and your mother.
It was.
How old are you and how old are your mother?
I'm 43 and my mother is 73.
Okay.
And I had seen previous pictures of you transforming a 70-year-old woman. And I'm like, okay, this is who I need to see because my mom has never had any kind of pampering or anything more than just washing her face on a daily basis. Like nothing fancy.
So you guys filled out the intake form, you sent them to Angelique, and then you prepped. Is that correct?
And they have 2 totally different types of skin, completely different.
I mean, I love you, Mom.
Yeah, but no. The point I'm trying to get at is that she took that information so that she could customize the treatment.
Yeah, because especially whether it's the products that I use in a traditional facial or if I'm doing non-surgical facelift, there's
so
different.
What is a non-surgical facelift?
So I have actually different technologies that I have paired together, and I use plant-based and peptide-based serums. So I use things like microcurrent, and I have the ability to deliver these serums at the cellular level without adding trauma or injury in the skin. That's one of those innovations that came along like in 2003. So a lot of people are out there looking at at these more aggressive treatments, say your peels, microneedling, things like that. But what I've found is you don't necessarily have to add trauma in order to gain a response from
What is
skin.
that, vampire?
That's the PRP facial where they'll actually extract your blood and then they'll spin it in a centrifuge and then put the plasma on over that. So that does.
But are they making holes to get
yes,
it in?
they use microneedling for that.
I've seen it. I've never had it done.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, I if people want that, I have somebody I like, know, and trust that I refer them to. But I try to stay non-invasive. I don't like making people feel uncomfortable. That's part of the reason I got out of doing complex acne all day every day is because especially young teenage boys, they don't have the tolerance that we ladies do.
Aiden's got acne scars here and here, and I think we're gonna end up doing something to help with the scarring down the road. But right now, the minute he sees a needle, he goes white and wants to. I mean, it just doesn't work for him.
Yeah. So, and I also use treatments like radio frequency, which actually works with heat and has a thermal response.
You use that with me.
Yeah, and that's always my client's most favorite part is because it's warming, and so it's very relaxing.
I fall asleep.
Yeah. So, and what it does is the light waves penetrate the lower layers of the skin to help stimulate the collagen and elastin production. So when you work with me, you'll see a result right away. But then because you're stimulating the skin from internally, there's also a delayed response. So my clients will see results up to 2 months after working with me. They'll see continued improvement, which is really exciting. So, but for Heather and her mom in particular, I did organic anti-aging facials. And so, with Heather, she has some sun damage and she had, just really kind of dehydration of the skin. And a lot of times people think that they have fine lines and wrinkles, and in reality, it's lacking water. So it's.
But I drink a ton of water.
It's true, but living in the state of Florida with the heat the way that it is here, and if you're not using the proper products, they have what's called transepidermal water loss. Your water can evaporate out of the surface of your skin just walking to your car in this state. I see dehydrated skin all day. People think since we live in a tropical climate that that's not a thing, but it's a matter of having the right serums, the right oils on the skin to help really lock in that hydration. So, and with Heather, she had a little congestion in the chin, and she is prone to some hormonal breakouts, along the jawline. So, but I did a nice gentle exfoliation. I like to use enzymes because it's gentle on all skin types. I do believe that slow and steady wins the race.
Yes, I remember you always saying that to me. Yeah. And that's a little hard too, because in today's day and age, everybody's like, quick. I know you and you were just talking about that.
Yeah, and I learned about
like the blast, give it to me, let me get it over with, whatever I have to do, and get the
instant gratification.
Right.
Yeah, and I learned my own lesson because I got too aggressive with my own skin, and one day my face felt like fire, and everything was sensitized because I was doing glycolics and acids and peels and all these things, and it's like, okay, you can only strip down so many layers of your skin before your skin's gonna scream help.
Yeah. And I used to do the VI peel, Vi-Peel, whatever, and I did it
those are
twice,
strong.
and it was really great. And the third time I did it, it was good for like 3 days, and I'm like feeling like everything is starting to, it's intense, so you peel off. And then I had like a reaction.
Oh no!
And I had the doctor, and I was on a vacation, and I had the doctor like have to send me a prescription. And,
and that was a wake up call for me
crazy.
When I first started working. In aesthetics, I was getting people that had been to the dermatologist that had deep peels, and they were calling me crying, saying my skin looks dead, it's falling off in pieces, and I don't know what to do. So I'd pamper it and hydrate it and put it back into balance and give it some love.
Yeah. Okay, so we have about 30 seconds, 1 minute left. Okay, and so Heather and her mom came in, and you did the organic facials. And so how does that differ from the organic part to like the traditional facials? It's just the materials that you use?
Yeah, absolutely. So there's a few different types of skincare philosophies out there. You've got your natural and organic. You've got your cosmeceutical, which will give you kind of like superficial results, and then you've got your pharmaceutical, which is your medical grade, which is going to be stronger and have higher concentrations of active ingredients. And so a lot of people do have sensitive skin, so those more intense products can actually cause some additional sensitivity or aggravation.
All right, we're coming up on a break. When we get back, I want to talk a little bit more with Heather about her aftermath of her day with Angelique. So stay tuned, and we'll be right back.
Florida Man Radio.
Welcome back to BaaD Radio, brought to you by Premier Couple Superstore, because a couple that plays together stays together.
And we are back. You can call or text us at any time to 321-339-1055. And this portion of BaaD Radio is brought to you by Ground Up Property Services. So I think yesterday was one of the first days that we actually didn't have a downpour. Did it rain in your area?
I don't think so.
I know. I don't think it rained in mine either. But prior to that, like I said,
like 2 weeks.
Like
my
1 inch to 5 inches.
So
and so I bring this up because if you don't have a water sensor, you need to get one. And you can get one by calling my buddy Rick with Ground Up Property Services. His number is 407-468-4295. It's just really a good time right now to get your irrigation system checked because we're going into the fall. There's just all sorts of stuff that could go wrong, but you are really going to need to work on this, getting the right amount of water, not too much, not too little, to your irrigation system. You can also find them at groundup.inc. Special thank you to Four Seasons AC and new to the sponsorship. I'm just babbling now. Thank you to 33 Tanning Spa with locations in Altamont Springs and in Longwood. Aaron is just amazing.
Great.
All right, so before the break, we were talking about Heather and her mom's trip to go see Angelique. So where did we get to? I don't know.
So, yes, with Heather, I focused a lot on hydration just because she had dehydration, especially around the eye areas. And this is something that's really common. One thing that I was explaining is that a lot of people have the misconception that because we live in a subtropical climate, that, we don't necessarily, get dehydrated.
It's so humid.
No, like 70%
exactly.
of Americans are dehydrated. Yeah.
But, if you don't have the proper protective barrier on your skin and the layer of products, then it actually can just evaporate out of the surface of the skin. So the basic fundamentals of skin health are proper oil and proper water balance. And then everything else comes after that. So with her, I focused a lot on hydration, and I have before and after photos that I took because you could see a diminishing of the fine lines around the eye area and crow's feet. And her skin just was drinking all that hydration in and just plumped up and really smoothed out. And sometimes I love working with skin that people that haven't had a facial, especially it's very common. Women in their 70s maybe haven't treated themselves. They consider it a luxury. And the neglected skin, I mean, you'll look at it and say, wow, there's a lot of damage. We might need a series of treatments, but then they'll have these transformational results in one treatment because their skin just drinks it all in. It's like, yes, finally, thank you.
That's so awesome. Very satisfying.
It is.
And so Heather, how did you feel afterwards?
I felt like my skin had a new surface. I was a brand new canvas. I felt very clean, and everything was very soft.
Yes.
And I did not know. I talked to friends, and I did not know that this was like a regular thing that most people go and do.
Yeah, in Europe, they start their kids at like 12, 13 years old. It's actually a part of their self-care regimen on a regular basis. Kind of like the French wear nice undergarments even if their clothes are sloppy. Although I don't think that's really a thing in France, but
Well, I can see it helping definitely for children with acne.
Yeah.
Starting to have acne.
Oh, yeah.
Because they just want to pop it.
Oh, yeah. And that can damage the skin. Right. And, so much of that, though, is what they're consuming and what they're eating. And that's, how I really, one of the reasons I got into that was because I was custom compounding mineral botanical cosmetics. And I was working as a makeup artist. And I already had a background as a wellness coach. And people were saying, can you cover this up for me? And I'd say, we got to talk about what you're consuming because you're having a response, to what you're ingesting. And, unfortunately, our food supply is corrupted. And, there's all these hormone disruptors and everything, and so what's happening on the outside is a reflection of what's going on the inside as well.
Right. So let's talk a little bit about how some of the packages that you offer and how people can come see you.
Yeah, absolutely. So usually I will start with, an organic, anti-aging facial. I will do extractions. One of the things I was explaining to Heather was with her mom, she had tons of blackheads in her nose. I got pictures of it through my magnifying lamp. So I had to steam her a couple times because her skin was running
steam
dry.
Kind of helps,
it helps to soften the skin, make it more pliable. I use an oil-based cream so that way it softens softens everything up to make the skin more pliable and malleable. So, I went through and extracted all the blackheads out of her nose. She had 73 years worth of blackheads. And the only difference between a whitehead and a blackhead is just that the pore has opened and it gets exposed to the skin, and then the oil oxidizes. So that's what causes that. So I did tell her, the first time is always the worst to get all the congestion out of the skin, so her nose was red when she left. But in everything I do afterwards is always calming and soothing and hydrating. But going forward, she will never have that amount of congestion in her skin again, because, it'll be easy to maintain now. Okay. And as far as packages go, So
you mentioned that you have some stuff coming up.
I do. I'm actually launching a Look Fab for Fall campaign right now. So we're officially kicking off on Tuesday, where I have 2 options available for people that want to reduce aging in the skin, roll back the clock. So it's not. And I have options available whether they just want to go with the skin nutrition and at-home regimen. I have that available for people, especially that maybe.
Is that what you call your box? It was like a box program. You could buy so many. Do you remember that when you used to have something where
I had a holistic beauty box at one time? That was kind of like a sampler where I was giving like a lot of different things that are available. There's some things that I work with also that help with stimulating stem cell activity, which we lose 50% by age 35 and 90% by age 60. So it's by stimulating stem cells that repairs all the organs and tissues within the body, including your skin. I also include, collagen beauty elixir. We stop producing collagen at age 35. It just goes downhill. So you have to augment and supplement. And I like kickstarting the body's natural process. So whether they want to repair the skin, and they can also add on a series of non-surgical facelift treatments. We're just doing 30 days. So it would be 4 treatments. You would receive $100 off your 4-week package. And then also for anybody that wants to lose inches, they could come see me for waist slimming, but we are kicking off a detox program. So gut health is so terribly important, and hitting the reset button. So we're going to do 30 days. We're going to, and you'll receive $100 off per treatment with that package.
Okay.
So first, total
waist slimming.
Waist slimming is where I use a combination of ultrasound cavitation and radio frequency. So basically, you warm up the fat cells, and then you use sound waves to perforate those fat cells. It helps to collapse them and drain the fluid and toxins out. And then I follow up with lymphatic drainage to help move those toxins out of the body. So, and then I do have some dietary recommendations that go along with that. But if somebody wants to just detox at home, I have 2 different Facebook groups for support, whether it's skin and beauty or whether it's losing inches. And then for those that submit their before and after photos, you're going to have an opportunity to win a free treatment.
Nice.
Valued at up to $350.
That's excellent. Yep. And that's all you said starting for fall. So that's.
Yes. We want to get everybody little black dress ready. And I know a lot of ladies here in Orlando, they love to dress up really cute for Halloween.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
So they like to get those cute outfits out. So, let's get a head start and just hit the reset button. I think everybody really enjoyed traveling this summer. I noticed, it was a slower summer for me this year, and because I think everybody really was excited to get out after these last couple of years.
Yeah.
Yes. So, if you had some summer indulgence, let's hit the reset button on that and get you little black dress ready before the holidays come.
I love that. Heather, how are we on time right now? Got 4 more minutes. Okay, so I would like to touch on your teaching.
Yeah, absolutely. So, it's funny because originally how I got into the business was I had hit the wall with, in my own career feeling burnt out, and
corporate
I
world,
looked
right?
old. I was 35 years old, and I was like, I am too young to look and feel this old. So I developed a heart to serve and support women struggling with the same issues that I had. And I decided I'd rather make people feel happy, healthy, and beautiful all day than, grind it out in corporate. So I switched careers. And then as I started really getting positive results with my clients, I was like, you know what? I have a vision. I think there should be somebody like me in every market. I would love to just teach and train other licensed professionals on my protocols and packaging and how to niche themselves as a holistic beauty expert in their market.
I think it's fascinating.
It's a
wonderful.
much bigger impact that I could ever have by myself.
Right.
It would create a ripple effect. And so I have been teaching and training. I've had nurses, functional nutritionists, PAs. I've had other estheticians that I've now been teaching and training, which I really love because it's that knowledge transfer. And I know that collectively, we can just service so many more people that are looking for non-toxic, non-invasive beauty and anti-aging. It's like we've been sold such, all these products that have become a household name. And I've been seeing the long-term repercussions of a lot of these products that masks can cover up, the underlying issue, which is that usually our lives are tipped out of balance.
Now it makes you glow. I'm sure somebody's told you that before, but when you talk about it, like you literally glow happy.
It's fun. It's really exciting. And I get totally geeked out on science. So I am the type of person, I do research. I love science. I look at formulations. I look at sourcing. I look at so many things that, and I have some really cool things that are in development for the future too. Some additional protocols that at some point I'm hoping to trademark and teach and train those to other licensed professionals.
So do you have a course?
I do. I have a whole, last year I launched my first holistic beauty certification class. Cool? Yeah. So cool. And then what I started finding was that people were approaching me because they wanted different portions of training. Like maybe they were interested in the body sculpting, but not the non-surgical facelift. Or maybe they wanted to develop a business around holistic acne care. So I've been able to train people in Maryland and Colorado. I mean, I love the virtual, but I've had people come and train with me now.
Not boot camps, but you did like camps, didn't you?
I did classes online. So yeah. And sometimes I'll launch a class just targeted on very specific topics, nice. So we can do a deep dive on those topics.
And where do you want to go? We have 2 minutes left, but where do you want to go?
Yeah. So you can always view my website at Angelique Renae, RENAE.com. So you're going to find more information there. And you also can reach me at 407-758-1961. Text is always best because if I am with a client, I will always get back to you after that. I'm also active on Facebook Messenger. So whether it's at Angelique Renae is my personal page, but Holistic Beauty and Body Slimming is my business page here for the Orlando area. So just reach out to me because I always schedule complimentary consultations or a discovery call with my licensed professionals to explore the areas they desire to have support and if we're actually a fit to work together.
Yeah, I love the work you do, and your website's beautiful, by the way.
Thank you.
All right, Miss Emily, let's give them the spiel.
So find me at gogetemcoach.com. Fill out my hormone quiz if you are wondering if your hormones are a reason that you're not losing weight, and we can talk.
I think you two would be a power team like none other.
Some synergies there for sure.
Oh my gosh. Like I said, it's beautiful. Well, I am Angela, and you can find all the information about BaaD Radio at baadradio.com. We are including an intake form on there, though. So if you're interested in being on the show, that information is going to be up there soon. So you can check it out, fill it out. You can also see previous episodes on there. But until then, you guys have a great week, and we'll see you next. Happy Labor Day. See you next Sunday.